Welcome back to TTHL. In this episode, we travel to the vibrant city of Los Angeles, California, as we delve into the haunting narrative of Frances Marion Parker, an innocent 12-year-old girl whose tragic story unfolded during the autumn of 1927. The gravity of this incident was so profound that it earned the somber distinction of being labeled by the Los Angeles Times as the most chilling crime of the 1920s. So stick around, you won't want to miss a single detail. On December 15, 1927, a self-assured young man walked confidently into the registrar's office at Mount Vernon Junior High School, which was situated in the upscale Lafayette Square neighborhood, a suburb of Los Angeles, California. He politely approached Mary Holt, the school registrar, and introduced himself as an employee of the First National Bank of Los Angeles, where Marion's father worked. His request was clear: to have 12-year-old Marion Parker released early from school due to her father's involvement in a car accident. He explained further that her father had explicitly asked to see her. Assured by the man's genuine and reassuring demeanor, Miss Holt promptly summoned Marion to the front office and allowed her to leave the school in the company of the young man and watch them drive off in his Chrysler coupe. Marion Parker was reported missing later that day when she hadn't returned home from school. Through tears and disbelief, the school registrar explained what had happened to the local police. The next day, December 16th, Marion's father, Perry Parker, received a chilling ransom note via telegram, demanding an exorbitant sum of $1,500 in $20 gold certificates for her safe return. The telegram read, "Do positively nothing till you receive special delivery letter," with what appeared to be Marion's signature on it. A second telegram read, "Marion secure. Use good judgment. Interference with my plans dangerous." This telegram was signed with the name George Fox. Interestingly, further communications from the kidnapper would be signed with names such as Fate, Death, and the Fox. The Parker family did what the kidnapper asked, hoping that it would help bring Marion back home safely. Through a series of additional telegrams, the kidnapper had given Perry a location to meet on the night of December 16th. Before Perry left, he wrote down the serial numbers of all the bills that were included on the ransom notes, in the hope that the authorities could identify the kidnapper when the money was used later. Perry arrived at the agreed-upon location with the ransom money, but there was no sign of the kidnapper. The kidnapper had caught wind that the police were tracking Perry and watching to catch him in the act of collecting the ransom. So when Perry showed up, the kidnapper was long gone. On December 17th, the Parker family kept getting telegrams from the kidnapper. The first one indicated that the kidnapper was angry that the whole country was talking about the kidnapping, and he blamed Perry for letting the police mess up their deal. The telegram went on to say that December 17th was Perry's final chance before there would be consequences for Marion. Along with the telegram, there was a letter that was supposed to be from Marion. She was asking her father to just do what the kidnapper wanted and not bring the police into it. Perry was granted permission by the authorities to meet with the kidnapper alone and without police surveillance. On the night of December 17th, Perry received further communication from the kidnapper and was given one final meeting place. Perry followed the instructions and rushed to the meeting spot with the ransom money. As soon as he arrived at the agreed-upon meeting place, the suspect pulled right up to Perry's car in his Chrysler coupe and immediately pointed a sawed-off shotgun directly at him. The man had most of his face covered with a bandana and was unrecognizable. While they were doing the exchange, Perry got a quick look at Marion, who was sitting in the front seat. Perry tried calling out to her, but Marion didn't react at all. Once the ransom money was handed over, the assailant shifted his car into gear, moved forward, and forcibly pushed Marion's motionless body out onto the street. The Chrysler coupe then sped quickly away from the scene, leaving Perry horrified. Perry rushed to his daughter's side and sadly discovered that she was already deceased. He immediately contacted the authorities to report the devastating incident. A post-mortem examination was conducted at around 9 p.m. During the autopsy, the coroner determined that the child had been deceased for approximately 12 hours. The details of the post-mortem examination were incredibly disturbing. Marion's arms and legs had been removed, and her internal organs were missing. Even more disturbingly, her eyes had been held open with piano wires, which is why Perry believed she was still alive during the exchange. A massive manhunt for Marion's killer began immediately, involving over 20,000 police officers and volunteers from the local American Legion. The following morning on December 18th, a man taking a morning walk in Elysian Park stumbled upon a deeply unsettling sight. He came across the severed arms and legs of a child, each meticulously wrapped in newspaper, strewn along the street. Once he alerted the authorities, the police were able to verify that these limbs were indeed Marion's, confirming her identity. This gruesome discovery heightened the seriousness of the already tragic and unsettling case. A reward of $50,000 was initially promised for anyone who could provide information leading to the identification and apprehension of the killer. Thanks to the contributions of concerned citizens, the reward was eventually raised to $100,000. On December 20th, authorities found the abandoned Chrysler coupe that was utilized by Marion's killer, and fingerprints were taken from the car's door. This was a pivotal breakthrough in the case, allowing law enforcement to successfully link the fingerprints to 19-year-old William Edward Hickman. Hickman was previously employed alongside Perry Parker at the First National Bank of Los Angeles. Hickman had been the subject of a complaint by Parker a year prior, accusing Hickman of the theft and forgery of checks. Hickman then faced legal consequences, including arrest, conviction, and a probationary sentence. Further fingerprints were extracted from the ransom letters, definitively linking them to Hickman. During the inspection of Hickman's apartment, investigators uncovered blood-stained footprints. In addition, law enforcement discovered partially charred handwritten drafts of the ransom letters, along with newspaper clippings related to the abduction. On December 22nd, Hickman was captured in Echo, Oregon, after a high-speed car chase. The $1,400 in ransom money, which Perry had given to him, was still in his possession. The trial that followed became a national sensation, with media outlets covering every twist and turn of the case. During the trial, the defense attempted to argue insanity. Hickman had informed his attorneys that he had carried out Parker's killing under the guidance of a supernatural entity he referred to as Providence. Interestingly, Hickman became one of the earliest individuals to utilize California's new law allowing pleas of not guilty because of insanity. However, the substantial body of evidence against him left little room for doubt. Testimonies from prison guards revealed that Hickman had been inquiring about how to impersonate someone that is insane. The psychologist who evaluated Hickman noted that his mental state appeared lucid. The psychologist also stated that Hickman narrated a coherent and uninterrupted account, always had an ample supply of words, and displayed no indicators of being mentally unstable. On February 13, 1928, the jury delivered their verdict. Hickman was found guilty of Marion Parker's horrific kidnapping and murder. The judge swiftly imposed the sentence, death by hanging. On October 19, 1928, Hickman met his fate on the gallows of San Quentin prison. However, in perhaps a final display of justice, as Hickman descended through the trapdoors, he hit his head, and his body began convulsing and swaying back and forth for about 2 minutes as Hickman's life painfully faded away. Shortly after the hanging, an autopsy was conducted, revealing that Hickman's neck hadn't fractured during the hanging. Instead, his cause of death was attributed to asphyxia. Marion Parker's tragic kidnapping and murder sparked significant changes in kidnapping laws and procedures, leading to better measures for protecting children from similar horrors. The case also brought attention to the psychological toll of violent crimes on victims' families and communities, prompting discussions about providing support and resources for those affected by such tragedies. While justice was served, the memory of Marion Parker continues to remind us all of the importance of cherishing and safeguarding our loved ones. If you found this video informative, please consider showing your appreciation by liking it and sharing it with your friends. Also, remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming content. Until next time, thanks for watching.